Hello, I'm Scott Corgatelli. We want to just welcome you to being part of the Snake River Opportunities community. And we just want to give you a little bit of information about our school to help you make the transition well. Let's see if this stuff will work. First of all, I wanted to share a little bit about me, but I want to give you information for the school. This might be a good slide to take a picture of and keep track of that information. It is also available. Most of this information is directly available on our Snake River Opportunities website, which I will show you a little bit more, but you can see down here at the bottom this address. Sorry. A little bit about me. Like I said, I'm Scott. I've been married for almost 20 years, and I have twin boys that are 17. They're getting ready to do their senior year, which could be crazy fun, but they're completely opposite kiddos. I have a little girl who's 9 years old, and her name is, my boys' name are Elijah and Jeremiah. Jeremiah is the taller guy. Elijah is the fuzzy-faced one. Then I have my daughter, Leah, and she is, like I said, 9 years, turning 10 years in October, and she is there in the center with her little stuffy thing. And my wife's name's Heather. My best buddy down there on the bottom is my doggo. His name is Axel, and I talk about him all the time. He's my walking, hiking buddy. And that's a little bit about me, is that my family loves to camp and be outside. I've got pictures of us playing in the water, sitting around campfires with our other little dog, Misty. She's a Chihuahua. And then my daughter and I went snowshoeing this winter, and so that was a pretty awesome time as well. I just got back just recently from a trip up into the Tetons and with my brother-in-laws and my nephew, and we hiked 14 miles and went up to Lake Solitude, and you can see we're kind of right behind the Grand Tetons in our little tents. That was an interesting adventure, and I never felt quite as old as I did that day, those 2 days. One of the things we want to encourage parents is to get really connected with this. We try and send out information pretty regularly. Most often I send 1 or 2 emails a month from me. Teachers send in emails to parents or students pretty much every week, and that information is available. But we also update information on our private Facebook group, on our website, and on our band app. So I'll just talk quickly about each of those. The private Facebook group is really only internal stuff, so information that's shared there. We do have a public page, but we don't put all of our announcements there. And we don't ever put our announcements on any one of these, but on a number of them. Our Snake River website, our teachers modify all the time, and there's tons of information there. If there's something you'd like to see there that's easier to find, please just reach out to me, and I'd love to add it. We also have a band app that's just for parents that's connected with our teachers. We put some announcements in there, but you can also directly message and get into chats with teachers if you need to share information or ask questions. And you can even make a phone call through the band app, which is what we prefer. I'm going to run over to the Snake River Opportunities website. It will redirect because we don't have a direct site, but this is kind of what it looks like. There's usually a scroll down over here. We try to put the most used things on the page as well. And you can see that there's some drop-down areas. This is student staff information. When you click on it, it opens up a bunch of quick hop-to pages. They're quick links. Then we also have stuff like that for the parents. So if you click down on the arrow, it should open up. Apparently my internet is getting very slow. So there's lots of different information there, and we update it all the time. The one thing we wanted to talk to you about is this Contact Us, which is also available in the dropdown. But if you click on Contact Us, right now this page is just being updated because we have some new staff. But you can see all of our pertinent information here. There's usually a phone number. There's also Zoom rooms. If we're going to be switching over to Google Meets this year, so the Zoom rooms might not be as pertinent, but you can see all of our staff. They'll have pictures, maybe some autobiographical stuff. But you can also look, I will pull up mine because it will be easier to see. If you click on appointment calendar, this is something you need to know, is that students and parents, you'll have to be in your student's Google account. They can register an appointment. And if there isn't any appointment available, you can see these gray spaces. This is an appointment. And in this case, if you click on it, it says SRHS intakes. That means that I'm working with students at Snake River High School to bring them on over to our school. But many times, I'm going to back up. I'll pull up like Mrs. J.O.'s calendar. And you can see that she doesn't have anything available in that week. But if you click on this next available appointment slot, it'll show you she has some mentor times available on 8/24. Students just can click into there, and they can add in their name and hit save, it will send a notification to Mrs. Jano that they'd like to meet. So that's some contact information that's super helpful. The next thing I really wanted to do is just kind of hit a few really important things. Communication is key, and that's why we started with how you communicate with us. It is super important in our school that students communicate all the time. They need to check their Gmail all the time, and we try to communicate through email as well. We will make phone calls if we need to, but it's just the easiest through our electronic means. So we often send information to you. So it's really important that you check your emails often. So the second thing that's super important is supporting your students' learning plan. At the very beginning in our orientation, at the beginning of the school term, whenever your student's starting, we work through the process of creating a learning calendar based on completion rates. And I'll talk more about that in a second, but you just really need to support them and check in on them, hold them accountable. Some students are going to need you to be on top of them very much at the very beginning, and over time, we'd love for you to gradually release that responsibility to them and their mentor teacher. But they do need the help, especially when they first transition to our school. Understanding what mastery means. And I'll send another video in about a week or a week and a half, maybe even 2, depending on how things work out, explaining to you what our model of mastery is. But the most important thing for you to know is that every time a student submits something, a teacher is going to interact with them through it. That means that if they put a submission into a course, the teacher is going to give them feedback and they're going to send it back to the student. We require that feedback leads to growth. That's kind of our model. And so we don't have direct interaction with students all the time. And so we really rely on written communication to students and or videos or however we do it. But there's feedback really fuels the students' growth in our school because we don't have direct lectures or direct instruction. We also have some learning funds for your use, and I want to talk a little bit more about that in just a second, but we want you to use those learning funds towards growing your student. Let's see if that's the next slide. Yes, it is. Student budgets. So student learning budgets are available for students who are what we consider active in our school. And I'll talk a little bit more about what each of those pieces mean. The first thing is that we give you about $1,200. It is exactly $1,200, sorry, not about. And I'll show you on the right what that looks like when you can get access to it. But we give it over the course of the year. They get access to funding kind of at the trimester when they complete orientation and continue to make adequate progress. So it's about $400 a trimester. And on the right, you can see when those are dispersed and what the requirement is. So like September 26th, $250 is dispersed into an account as if the student has completed orientation and has 5% completion rate. That means they've turned in 5% of their topics for the year. October 17th, we give another $150 to get the first trimester's $400. That requires a 15% completion rate in addition to the completion of orientation, if that makes sense. These are kind of progressive. November 14th, you get another $400 for the second trimester, and that requires a 25% completion rate. And then March 13th, we give you the additional $400. That means you need to have a 75% completion rate. So as you can see, we've kind of front load your funds, and you can keep track of receipts and turn them in anytime after that date when the funds are entered into the account. How do we know that a student's active? This is a big question, and we will look at 3 different things. The first includes, is the student actively connected with Snake River Opportunities High School? And that means that they're completing the weekly survey, which students get in their weekly message from their mentor. They're actively involved in home base, which is a requirement for all brand new students and for all first and second or possibly third or fourth year students, depending on their ability, how active they've been in our program. And then you have to have some sort of weekly activity. That means you're logging into Google Classroom and we see you there. That's how we take attendance in our school, those 3 pieces. And then beyond that, you have to be up to date with your monthly completion rates. Which I just expressed to you. And there are, we do have a month-by-month schedule to help you, and you'll actually break it down into how many topics you need to complete. And then the last piece is mastering those quarterly mastery rates. Now, this will not keep you from being considered active, but it will trigger some opportunities to have some extra help if your student's not getting the mastery rates they need to, so we can intervene. The student learning budgets are for approved purchases between June 1st and May 31st. For the year, budgets are intended to meet the educational needs of students. You can use it for technology, internet, curriculum supplies, and elective courses that are outside of us. That includes IDLA, BYUS, and other places and at the universities. Students and teachers fill out the budget request form to get reimbursed, and that's also on the website underneath what parents need. And then finally, funding requests should be connected to courses and credits that the students are trying to get. Obviously, the technology pieces don't have to be that, but we won't pay for like soccer unless the student's in a PE course. So if you intend on having your student involved in soccer or outside extracurricular activities, that's great. And we would love to support those. We would just like to get you a credit for them. So it's more working towards graduation. And that would be something you talk to the mentors about. And here's just a quick list of things that are covered and that aren't. Obviously, we don't do food for humans or animals. We don't give gift cards, We don't do travel expenses. You can get it for elective courses, learning experiences, tutoring you pay for, internet, printers, laptops, computers, our travel experiences. So for example, this year we're doing a travel experience to 4 national parks, which there'll be a meeting very soon that we'd love for you guys to join that meeting and see what we have to offer there. It's worth 3 college credits and 2 high school credits. So just a little plug there. If you have questions, specific questions, you can refer to this set of slides. And there's also an additional video giving more guidance on this. So this is where I wanted to just touch on advanced opportunities. The state provides an additional $4,125 for every college student or every high school student between ages 7th grade and 12th grade. You can use that money for overload courses. In this case, that would mean over 4 classes per trimester or over 12 credits for the whole year. So we haven't figured out the exact nuances of that with our model, but we will most likely use it for overload courses through IDLA. In addition, you can do it for dual credit courses at the university without having to be in an overload. So if you're taking dual credit, that works. Exams, you can get paid for certain levels of advanced placement tests, international baccalaureate, college level examinations, CLEPs, career technical education exams like beautician and all this kind of to get certification, CNA, those type of things. And then you can also get it for workforce training, like you can take a CNA course or welding course, and you can still use those funds. Things you need to know is that most often the money is used for IDLA courses or college dual credit. You can also do those other things where we send students to college, like a tech school. You can also use them for like, but we want to warn you, sorry, the dual credit courses are college level courses. And unless it's our teacher, we don't have really control on what happens to the university. In fact, they don't even talk to us very much. So just be aware of that. And if you fail, it's a permanent F on your future college transcript. And if you also failed, it does freeze your advanced opportunities funds until you pay for a 1 credit. But also note that if you're taking 3 college classes at that time, to remove the flag, you have to pay for all 3 of those. Otherwise, you just have to take the 1 and then they would unlock it. And we have to have an advanced opportunities participation form filled out, which I have sent in a previous email or is available on our website. Another huge thing about our schools, we have Panther coins. So I just wanted to let you know that we do reward students in a positive way for all sorts of things. Sometimes we have contests in a regular building, in a brick and mortar building. You might have like a pizza party. We don't do that stuff, obviously, because we're not together necessarily. So we reward with Panther coins. And we have kind of a Panther store. Right now, all we're really offering is gift cards. So we can just mail them to you or email them to you. When you reach a certain percent or a point level. And sometimes we do contests for like mastery or how many students complete courses in this month or those types of things. We also wanted to just kind of touch on the values of our school. We're, we really believe in a partnership, and we want you to know that in the world in general, even if we are a public school, we want to have a good working relationship. And then coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, and working together is success, as Henry Ford said. And so we wanted to establish some boundaries around that, and these are our values in relationship to how we will interact with you and hope that you will interact with us. So we just value relationships. So we strive to build authentic relationships that have good, meaningful connections. And And we want you to know that that requires respect, communication, and using channels of communication properly. And this is the one place, oh, transparency is also there. We're going to try and tell you exactly what's on our mind and be as clear as we can every time. But the channels part is what I want to emphasize, that we like to be really thorough in the way we explain ourselves. And we want to let you know that we, in an outrage culture, we want you to take personal issues to a public forum and never to take them to a public forum. And we will respond to your communication, and we bring celebrations to public spaces and grievances to the appropriate person. Finally, we have, their second major agreement in our school is that we agree for growth and success. We exist and we have high expectations, and we use our framework for learning to guide those things, and we expect students to have ownership of their learning. Next, we talk about balance in our work. Together, we will find a balance between work-life, and we will always set clear boundaries, support students, presume that you're doing things out of a positive reason, and we want to set heroes up for students to look for. Of course, I will be sending all of these to you soon. We also agree to be a team, that we have a structure, we work as a team with a growth mindset, and we do believe in building character and competence as a team. One of the things you need to do is to understand that responsible use of technology is kind of a prerequisite of our school. So take the time to read through the policy that is included in this link. And we don't support technology for you because you own it, but sometimes we can help. And my best advice on technology is just don't, for you and for your students, is just don't do stupid. We all know what we should and shouldn't do on technology, but we're going to continue to build that digital literacy. We need this form signed by both parents and students. So there's going to be a link in this email that I send you in this set of slides. What else do I got? I think that's actually the end of my slides, but I just wanted to put my contact information back up for you so you can see it. And all of this stuff is available for you to look at on your own. But we truly appreciate you and are excited about an amazing year. And oh, not that one. Oh, where's my personal information? It's a little bit further. Sorry. There you go. Thanks. Excited for this year.